Can you find good whiskey in your grandparents' attic? We're about to find out.
So that you don't have to.
I'm James.
I'm Max.
And I'm Jenna.
And this is the Sons of Vancouver Whiskey YouTube channel. We're about to taste 5 different whiskeys from various ages.
Out of these weird ass decanters.
It appears the only requirement is that they were put in ceramics.
If you are someone who collects whiskey, you've definitely been on a certain site that has a purple background where you can look up things for sale on the classifieds. And if so, you've definitely come upon one of these. They're weirdo decanters, usually made of ceramic. They were popularized in the 1960s, I believe. I think it was Brown-Forman that did it for the first time. I think that was in the 1950s. And then in the 1960s, Jim Beam was like, we're putting all of our chips into these decanters. And so they really popularized it, especially figurines. Problem with them is that a lot of times the sort of a dog's breakfast of, does it have a cork? Does it have a screw cap? A lot of them disintegrate. And so a lot of people spent money and put them in their collection, and then they slowly over time devalued themselves. And so if you go online to resale sites, they're really cheap to buy. We bought a bunch of them. We're gonna open them with you and find out if they actually have whiskey inside of them. Most of them have the tax seal intact still. Some of them have the tax seal that's slightly ripped because we were clumsy about it. You'll notice some of them have plastic tape that someone over the years has put on here, and that's to keep the seal from breaking. So whether corks are gonna crumble or not, who knows, but we're gonna find out. Automatically, just by design, this guy's my favorite. I'm from Winnipeg. If you live or have lived in Winnipeg, you know what the nonsuch is. This is the first ship to have made the voyage into the Hudson's Bay. Possibility of Manitoba becoming a province. Hudson's Bay Company, very famous for their striped blankies. At one point, they were one of the biggest sellers of alcohol in the country, I believe. Still an interesting part of the history of Manitoba. I actually have the nonsuch tattooed on my arm.
2 hours later.
That said, I have the least amount of hope that this is actually going to contain whiskey because it says 1970 on it and the tax seal is 1965. So
Interesting.
What about you? Which one are you most excited for?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to both of the Jim Beams. These guys here, I think they're going to be the best. But actually, the Distillery Hoffman that no one's ever heard of in Lawrenceburg, I'm probably looking forward to this one the most. Also, I think it's the heaviest, but that might be because it's also a music box.
That's what that is.
Defunct music box. Oh wait, does it work? Oh, now it's going to be going
This
forever.
is a winner.
I'm just going to turn it off right there.
Max?
Well, I'm just going to go entirely off the ceramics and say that I'm most drawn towards the sad clown and the friendly-looking bucktooth polar bear. Potter's whiskey in the polar bear, not my favorite. And I think it's just the kind of crummy design of it that is drawing me in. But
Its neck is just far too long.
yeah, he's a camel
I
bear.
understand why, but it just it looks like it's a camel or
Like a
something.
dinosaur. It's like,
So that's a lot of whiskey is in the narrative.
and in
Right.
the neck.
Yes, in the neck.
Well, shall we break it?
Yes.
Now, when you think of whiskey, you think of Thailand.
Thailand, a nation of wonders.
Show the back too. There's lots
The back, yes, is a
art
map
on
of
the back.
Thailand. And
Somewhat culturally appropriative,
yeah.
but it was a different time then.
100-month-old Jim Beam bourbon.
Oh, I just heard it break.
No.
No, I mean like a
Oh, wow.
a little.
That cork is actually in pretty decent condition.
Guys, it's about. I'm gonna say it's about this full.
It smells like whiskey.
This is actually held up pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not a bad nose on
Wow,
it.
it's actually you get a lot of cherry, like you get a lot of oak from it. New oak.
This is a really nice whiskey.
Yeah,
guys.
it's easy to drink. It's not wildly complex, but it's
But it's not boring either.
no.
Like, this is a solid 8-year whiskey. Like, I fully believe that this is what it says it should be.
Yeah.
The nose is great. The nose is like,
Yeah.
it's fruity. It's a little bit of cardboard. You always get a little bit of like dustiness when you have evaporation in bottles like this.
That's not really there that much, though. I always call it
Dresser drawer.
dresser drawer, like antique dresser drawer, that like smell that you get when you open the drawer of an antique dresser. And it's like very like musty and like wooden.
Yeah.
But like that's not really present. It doesn't seem to have evaporated much.
Oh, there's a wood note that I've never gotten on whiskey before.
The
Dried fruit is incredible.
The thing with a lot of these is I don't really understand why they chose the thing that they did. Like, I'm sure there's a reason, but the reason is not often actually put on them. And so like it's completely lost to someone who's looking at it, 60 odd years later, 70 odd years later. All right, let's break into Mr. Longneck Polar Bear.
Yeah. They had long neck polar bears and something. Oh,
This cork is not gonna do well.
this is horrible.
I think you just pull it. Oh, this is gonna take a while.
Okay, let's maybe.
Cue SpongeBob SquarePants.
2 hours later.
Technical difficulties. However, we now have this very attractive headless polar bear bottle to enjoy
The
with
cork
only
fell in.
a bit
It
of
fell
cork.
in.
Yes, this is Potter's whiskey, a Canadian whiskey.
Canadian classic.
Yeah.
Still available to this day, but distilled from Highwood.
Ooh,
Although it
yeah.
does
This
say
one
it-
says it's distilled in Langley, British Columbia, so that's kind of cool. Land of the polar bear.
Nose isn't promising, guys.
It smells like polar bear.
Smells
Smells a little bit like sugar.
kind of like rubbing alcohol.
Oh, that's a bit mean, but yes.
Oh.
No, I don't mean it in a mean way. Like, I don't think it's held up. Is my point.
No, this smells like the Crown, like the 1967 Crown.
This tastes like
it-
Potter's. A little bit. Yeah. Now, that being said, it also seems to have held up in the bottle.
I don't think this is the alcohol percentage that we think it is.
No.
There's a tremendous amount of
Should
sweetness.
we take a proof?
And a tremendous low amount of alcohol.
Should we take a proof?
Yeah, totally.
Being that we are a distillery, we have the tools to be able to test the ABV. This is a densometer. Take a little sample.
I think it's going to be 33%.
Oh, I trust this polar bear. It's going to be 40.
Bang on.
Oh, yeah.
Jenna?
37.6.
Whoa!
This whiskey, well, avoid the polar bear.
It just, yeah, there's nothing here.
The magic.
Another decapitation. Decapitation. Get it? Get it?
Ooh.
Oh,
It's very disintegrated. Very interesting.
that was already in there.
Yeah. So this one has fallen apart totally. So this is. Oh,
Full.
that's all right. I could purse my lips. Yeah, but the seal is
Get on our
truly.
trusty densometer.
Yeah. I'm not going to place any bets this time.
38.3. Higher than I thought it would be.
It's okay. I prefer the Jim Beam. And then there's a kind of a rotten cork flavor at the end.
So from the Hoffman Distillery, 80 proof, it says.
Very, very cereal. A little bit of something gone bad.
A little bit corkboardy.
Yeah.
The nose has got like that burnt tire, like quite badly.
Yeah.
I think some of that is the cork.
yeah.
And I think also the concentration would make it like even more exaggerated.
The nose
not
is so much
terrible.
worse than the palate. The palate's fine. It reminds me actually more of the Potters than
pretty
of the Jim
neutral,
Beam.
yeah.
Yeah. It tastes like it was distilled very neutral.
Well, it did sing to us, and it did happen to suffer more a little bit the effects of time more than the others. So
Would you say this meets or exceeds or disappoints you?
Disappointing.
Disappointing?
James, would you like to set us straight with a sad clown?
Yes.
Also, Jim Beam 100 months, that is.
This is one of the ones I was the most looking forward to. Emmett Kelly. This is the Emmett Kelly collector decanter. Emmett Kelly was the first rodeo clown, very famous all across America. for
He was like with the Ringling Brothers,
who are they?
the like famous circus people.
Oh yeah.
I think he was a circus clown.
Circus clown. I thought he was a rodeo clown.
No, I think he was with like Ringling Circus, and then he became like an actor or something.
I don't know the different types of clowns.
And for a while, he was a mascot for a baseball team.
Oh, it's
Porcelain
do it.
on porcelain.
yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Sound.
This looks very similar to the first one that we had.
Yeah, we were also very impressed by Thailand over here.
Yeah, it smells exactly
This smells the same. This is so. What we've learned so far is Jim Beam, old weird whiskeys, not bad.
Another Jim Beam whiskey, also 86 proof, the same as the first one.
We're pretty certain that this whiskey is exactly the same as the first, but it doesn't taste the same.
No.
It has a very similar nose and palate, but I feel like this one didn't fare as well in the clown, whereas that one was quite well sealed.
This one came from a different grandparent's attic.
It was the terroir of the attic.
Yeah, you really have to factor that in.
What really surprises me, because we've had some of the older bottlings of bourbon I've had in my life today, that bourbon really, it appears like in the 70s, it really leaned on caramel and oak more than it does these days. Like caramel a lot more. It reminds me of Canadian whiskey in a way that it certainly doesn't now when you buy it.
This has lost a fair amount of alcohol. It's at 39.3%.
When I just did it, it got 40.8.
39.3. The like visual of the beheaded clown is quite impactful.
Yeah.
He's
Now that
not
it's
smiling.
open. Does it meet, exceed, or disappoint?
It meets.
I would say it's a slight disappointment. A disappointment that it didn't hold up better. But the whiskey's not bad.
Yeah, I would say it meets my expectations. The first one really surprised me. This one is more of if you bought it as a bourbon today, you'd be surprised, and not in a good way.
Last one. This one I don't have high hopes for. One, because it doesn't sound like it's full anymore. It sounds like it's like half full. Two, because this is to commemorate they made a replica of the Nonsuch at almost full scale, and it now sits in the Manitoba Museum. You can like go and stand on it and like.
I did that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. They made that in 1970, and this was to commemorate that. And the tax seal says 1965. So it's also been like glued shut.
Yeah, there's a little bit of wax around the
Yeah,
neck.
this is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't take long at all.
You pulled out the shank.
Oh,
The cork is still in there, but
I was so confused. I was like, why can't I see cork?
Yeah.
We got the cork out. Well, we got the cork in. As predicted, it's only about here, and I don't think this is gonna be great. When I looked in there originally, I thought it was gonna be like swamp water. Nah, this is not alcohol anymore.
I don't know if there's alcohol in this.
No.
Before I drink any of this, please use our handy dandy gadget here.
9.9%.
Oh my god.
9.9% alcohol. Okay.
The first reading was 10, so yeah, 9.9.
Yeah. It smells kind of
I'm
like
interested to try it.
erasers.
All of a sudden, my expectations went up.
Yeah, I get eraser.
It's
You're making a
making-
low ABV whiskey, you know, like one of those like the new like 0 proof spirits.
Yeah.
This smells like when we try to rehydrate a barrel, the water that we dump out of it, it smells like this.
Yeah.
I would imagine that this is what Swish smells like.
Yes. All right. Screw it.
I don't think I can drink this.
Surprisingly spicy.
Is it?
It's not awful.
This is the defining smell of attic dresser drawer.
It's
It tastes
Antique
exactly
dresser.
like barrel head water.
if
Yeah.
you took one ginger snap and you crumbled it up into several liters of water, it might taste like this.
One ginger snap.
There's like
There's a surprising amount of ginger out
there's a bit of
It's making me
ginger.
feel a little nauseous smelling it.
It has like the molasses that a dresser drawer has.
It kind of smells like
Molasses of a dresser drawer.
it kind of smells like old man.
Old man, yeah.
Like when you go into like someone's grandpa's house that isn't your grandpa.
It also has fake smoke. Like if you were to buy like mesquite flavor, it would taste like this.
Yeah.
Or like chicory, it has chicory in it.
I'm so disappointed in this one.
It
It's beautiful though, but
does.
very disappointing.
Yeah.
This one for me was like the most historical because like you can't get Hudson's Bay.
With 65, is that the youngest one out of here? Or the oldest one?
Hypothetically.
I'm willing to bet that this was never like the contents of this aren't even the whiskey that was in here, but who knows?
Well, I think we'd probably go on the did not meet expectations side of things for this.
But very beautiful.
Yes, it is a lovely bottle.
I probably won't decant that one out afterwards.
Well, is it worth looking in your grandparents' attic for whiskey? Maybe.
If it says Thailand on it, this is a cool thing though, because I think that a lot of people might avoid this bottle, not thinking of whiskey in Thailand. However, there's quite something to do this one. I think it might also be the design of the bottle was more.
It's the only one that's bottle shaped.
That's exactly it. That it might actually have had made it stand the test of time a little better than some of its more awkward compatriots.
I would say if you come upon one of these that's a Beam 100, it might be worth picking it up.
Yeah.
If it's a very low price. They seem to be better at withstanding the test of time. And 100-year-old whiskey. 100-month-old.
Yeah.
If only.
But 50-year-old whiskey, effectively speaking. Yeah. Well,
Anyway, like and subscribe.
like and subscribe. We
Like and
hope
subscribe.